You know, I really wasn't going to make this video at first, and I know that I keep saying over and over and over again in my videos that I will stop making opinion pieces on Rocket League, but in light of some rather large names quitting Rocket League YouTube altogether, I think it's time I make one last opinion piece for Rocket League. So as a lot of you know, Rocket League released Season 16 a few weeks ago, and for us Rocket League players, this is really the only time that we get any changes to the game, whether they be big or small. Most of the time they're just small changes and they add some new cosmetic items for us. And on top of the hype for Season 16 and a new season in general being at what feels like an all-time low, a lot of people have stopped playing the game. A lot of content creators have stopped making videos on the game. People have just moved on to other things. So this season, in my mind, is going to be a major turning point for the game, for better or for worse. Now, obviously, the features for Season 16 have been out for a very long time, and on top of that, we knew what they were going into the new season, but I wanted to give it some time, let everything marinate, see how stuff played out. And then from there, give my honest opinion on where I think the game is going and kind of just grade the new features as a whole and see how well of a response this was to the declining player base and the increased dissatisfaction amongst players. So welcome to the first and only episode of Cooked or Not Cooked Rocket League Edition. So I think what I'm going to do is I will just go through every single feature and every major cosmetic pack that was released with the new season of Rocket League. And since Epic Games really loves their cosmetics, let's start with the cosmetic updates. And more importantly, the Rocket Pass. So the Season 16 Rocket Pass includes all of the standard stuff you see in a Rocket Pass. There's a new car, there's new wheels, there's new decals, there's new boosts. But with all Rocket Passes, usually the car is the main feature of the Rocket Pass, and it's what gets people the most excited to purchase it. Well, this time around, they collabed with BMW to get the 1 Series into the game, and on top of that, they actually gave the car the Octane hitbox. And some people might be wondering, well, why does the hitbox on the car matter that much? And it's because the Octane hitbox is the most popular amongst all players, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's been known, but cars that have this hitbox tend to be used more and just perform better sales-wise in general. So overall, I feel like this is a pretty safe pick by them. Almost any time Rocket League adds a real car into the game, it has pretty good reception, and the fact that it also has a playable hitbox for higher ranked matches actually might give it some viability and playability in the game, so I can give them credit there. But other than that, there is absolutely nothing in this Rocket Pass that stands out to me. But I'll also let it be known that I don't buy the Rocket Pass like ever. I haven't in years. But compared to previous Rocket Passes, this isn't really speaking to me. There's nothing new here, there's nothing exciting here. So let's just move on. In addition to new cosmetics being available in the Rocket Pass, they also redo their tournament rewards every season. And this season is just as forgettable as the last 5 seasons. Nothing really eye-catching. I think there was 1 or 2 things I liked in here. I don't really want to talk about it that much. It's not that big of a deal, and in the scope of the changes that they made, this is probably the least important. Let's just move on. It wasn't very good. So from there, let's keep on the topic of tournaments, because they actually made a decent amount of changes and what they consider improvements to the tournament system. So the less exciting change that they made is that they added more tournament time slots. I don't think this is necessarily a bad idea, because sometimes I get on and I don't get on with the intention to play tournaments, but when I see that they're about to start, I see it as something fun to do, and then I end up playing a tournament for, let's say, an hour if we make it all the way to the semifinals or finals. And I actually have a pretty good time playing tournaments usually, so the fact that they're more available now, to me, can only be a good thing. It's kind of low-hanging fruit for them, but I'm glad that they did it anyways. And speaking of low-hanging fruit, they finally implemented Heatseeker tournaments into the game. I feel like this was something that, as players and a community, we were asking for when tournaments were first released, because we have been waiting for any competitive form of Heatseeker for what feels like ages at this point, but they did finally implement it into the game. However, it's not available every day, and it goes through a cycle of other extra modes that nobody really plays. And with Heatseeker being arguably the most popular extra mode, I feel like they would do something extra to make sure that it's in rotation more since it's more popular, but here we are. They didn't. And I feel like this is a really good thing to implement if they did it like 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, in terms of tournament changes and improvements and new cosmetics, that's about all they did there. So another standard thing that Rocket League does every season is that they introduce a new map. And it has been so long since they have released what the community would consider a good map, because most of the time, it's just a reskin of a map that they've already done, or it looks so similar to another map, nobody really finds it interesting or eye-catching or whatever. And when I first saw the pictures for the Driftwoods map, I was like, okay, it's a forest, whatever. But I actually got the chance to play on this map a few times while I've been on Rocket League this season, and I actually have to say, it's a pretty cool map to play on. It has good scenery, it like almost like sets a mood with the lighting and everything. It's cool. I would say that there's actually a very good implementation into the game, and they finally like gave us a map that feels like it has character to it. But this isn't gonna make people come back and play the game. This isn't gonna make new people play the game because they're like, oh my god, car soccer, but in the woods now. Like, that's not gonna happen. But I will give them the benefit of the doubt here. This is a pretty good implementation. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is probably the biggest change to the game this season, and one of the biggest changes that we've had in a while to the game. That's right, you guessed it, Rocket League gave us a demo cam. So basically, when you used to get demoed in Rocket League, your car would explode, and you would just sit there and reflect for about 2 to 3 seconds. The camera would stay there, be completely stagnant, and all of a sudden you would get teleported across the map to either the left or right side of your goal. The kicker is, you never had any idea which side of your goal you'd be on, and neither did your teammates. And this wouldn't happen all the time, but it seemed to happen more times than not. You would get in the way of your teammate, you'd spawn right in front of them, and they'd bump you, and it would hit you both off course or whatever. But now, what they've implemented is this demo cam, where instead of immediately teleporting you to the left or right side of your goal, the camera will pan to the side that you're gonna spawn on so that you can actually prepare for where you're about to get dropped off. That's the big change. That is the focal point in my mind of this update. That is the game breaking thing that they did. And on top of that, the camera pan is like 5 times faster than it needs to be. So you still have trouble reacting sometimes, and you definitely don't have enough time to warn your teammates or let them know what side you're spawning in on in a timely manner. And that's it. Those were the changes that Rocket League made. So now begs the question, was Rocket League cooking with this update? Or is the game just cooked? Is it done for? And to be honest with you, this would have been a fantastic update a couple years ago when the game was doing a lot better. I have really been trying my best to hold out on the game, make whatever content I can to not only try and grow my channel, but to get people playing Rocket League, or to keep people playing Rocket League, because I've had a lot of fun playing this game for the past, I don't know, 8-9 years. I've been playing since like the Xbox release. And it was definitely a little upsetting to see established Rocket League YouTubers start to give up or even take a break from the game, or just give up and quit on the game altogether. So going into the season, I was really hoping that I would feel some kind of spark, or really anything, any desire to really play Rocket League and have all these new video ideas coming for the game, but it's just not happening. Now, I'm not going to say that the game is dying and that everybody's going to stop playing the game. A lot of people have stopped playing the game, but there's still plenty of people that are on. And it's not like I'm sitting in matches for 10-15 minutes waiting to find opponents. So the game's not dying by any means, but I think it's time to take a break from Rocket League. I have really tried for the past few weeks to think of a new series I could start, new video ideas, something unique to bring to the table. But for Rocket League, it just doesn't feel like it's there anymore. And I'm not saying that I'm quitting the game altogether, but I think for this channel, it has been stagnant for a while. Part of that is my fault, but it's hard to grow a fan base on a game that has a declining player count. And quite frankly, I just have more fun playing other games right now. Now, just because I'm taking a break from Rocket League does not mean I'm taking a break from the channel. I'm actually working on some stuff right now that I think is going to be really cool, and I would love for all of you to stick around, but if you're only here for the Rocket League and you want to unsubscribe, that's cool. I mean, you do you. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna beg people to stay and watch my channel because I just do this for fun. And I think it's time to have more fun again. For those of you that are gonna stick around, I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to everything that is to come in the future. But yeah, I think I've rambled for long enough, and I really appreciate all the support that I have gotten throughout my Rocket League journey on YouTube. And I'm sure there will be more to come, and as always, see you guys next time.